asked you to pick a show. What is this?
This is fucking called revenge.
I mean, I just wanted one show. One show we could, do and people could listen to and enjoy.
I mean, I did the whole show thing. You said nothing about enjoying it. We've watched some not good shit before. And this is me making you suffer for all the fucking shit I have to put up with.
This is...
Raging alcoholic who ruins everything.
This is literally worse than anything I've ever picked for us to view.
Yeah, that's why it's revenge.
This isn't revenge. This is a whole new level. You need to apologize. Straight up, you need to apologize to the passengers. You need to apologize to all the passengers right now.
I don't hear a single passenger complaining.
Guys.
What do you want?
Hey, Chris, you're back.
I turned on my screen.
Yeah.
To watch the in-flight entertainment.
Yeah.
What was that?
It sounds like you do need to apologize.
I mean, I didn't hear anything negative about that. But to answer your question, that's because I'm done with this fuck over here.
I mean, seriously, you should apologize to the entire audience, every person that's ever flown with us, and every person that will fly with us. Jesus Christ. I don't know how you could think this was an actual reasonable decision.
I never said that. I took a page from your book and got really fucking drunk when I made the decision.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, I guess I'm sorry, but...
So, I'm going to apologize for him. Chris, you want to talk about this with us for the audience?
I mean, you were already subjugated to it. You watched it.
I have to work through the trauma somehow.
I can hear it in your voice. I know you fucking watched it.
I'm also working through that trauma.
So am I. I repressed it once before.
This week, in-flight entertainment.
In-flight torture this week.
2010's KissxSis.
So, I'm going to go and preclude this all by saying, first of all, massive fucking warning. This show it's not extremely violent or grotesque. It is extremely sexual in context. It covers taboo relationships. It's honestly not a good fucking show. We decided to review this one because Josh and I were talking at a point.
We decided to review this
I decided to review this one because me and Josh were talking at a point, and for our guest, Chris, and we have another one coming up, we talked about having them pick a show that we reviewed, and then we came up with the idea of having a show we wanted to force them to watch and review. And Josh had a really good idea for our other guest, which he has since forgotten because he had it when he was drunk.
Look, you can't expect drunk me to be responsible for sober me.
Yeah. And I remembered this show because I remember back I felt the need to watch a really, really shitty show, so I just found what was apparently a shitty show and I started to watch it. Well, when I started to watch it, I was hanging out with Chris, our guest, and it was bad. And, of course, the average sane person is like, I'm not going to fucking watch this. I'll admit, I have issues. We've mentioned this before. And I was like, I wanted to watch something shitty. I'm going to watch it. And then, because I started it, I had to finish it, as I've mentioned here several times. And, God, do I fucking regret ever starting this show.
This is, circa 2014.
Yeah.
Me and Justice are hanging out in, my childhood apartment, right? And Justice is like, hey, I've watched tons of shitty anime, right? But
what if I watched the shittiest anime?
He's like, this anime is so bad that it is legitimately offensive. In the intro, when I said I was traumatized, that's not a bit. I feel icky.
So do I. We all do. And, as I was saying, you don't need to listen to this.
I wouldn't say all of us feel icky. We had a fourth friend watch this with us, and he was just laughing the entire time. I think there's legitimately something fucked in his head. Yeah. Good news, he's never going to listen to this because he doesn't listen to our show, even though he's our friend.
Sure. So, Justice, what is the basic premise of KissxSis?
Oh, this guy has two stepsisters and they want to fuck him.
Oh, God.
That's it.
Okay, but
that's the premise.
They're adults, right?
No. He's a middle schooler. They're high schoolers. This is anime, baby. Everything's fucked up.
So they want to fuck him, but that's where it ends, right? They're just lusty for him,
I mean, they never get to the full completion of things, but they really fucking try.
I'm gonna go ahead and...
I don't think they do.
We watched...
I repressed shit, guys.
We watched the first 2 episodes, right?
Watched is a strong word.
Suffered through.
We were traumatized by.
In the first, I kept count In the first 2 episodes, there are 25 shots of these underage girls in their either a panty or bra, exposing underwear, exposing themselves. At least 25 distinct times it happens.
Not counting 6 in each of the openings.
And the very first one happens less than 3 minutes into the show. 2.5 minutes in, and we get teenage girls revealing their panties.
Yeah.
So I think we're reviewing the show because we watched it.
Yeah.
Because Justice is a piece of trash and hates us.
I wanted to make them suffer because I thought it would be amusing, and then it quickly dawned on me, I had to fucking watch it too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fuck you. So...
It was a bad decision. Mistakes were made. Horrible, horrible mistakes.
Had something I was going to say. The show's so terrible, I lost it.
Might as well start at the top.
So,
Okay.
You actually had the episode name, Josh?
Oh, yeah, I found the episode name. KissxSis, Episode 1, Wonderful Days, from 2010.
Okay. So, the show starts with a dog.
Oh, no, excuse me, motherfucker.
The show does not start with a dog.
The show
The dog is on the screen at the same time as you hear the sound.
You see a, establishing shot of a riverbank, and you hear the most stereotypical little girl sound ever.
He says little girl sound, but he means anime's version of a little girl sex sound. Because that's what it is.
I will now, a grown man, 20 years of age, I will now put this on the internet forever and try and replicate the sound.
I'm glad you're trying to replicate this, because I really don't want to.
Me.
Except in the show, because I don't know how the fuck this works, it's a little boy crying because those sounds are apparently the same in real life.
I mean, so just going back to a better time in our lives, a time before this, in the before times, and this time I don't mean before COVID, I mean before I was forced to watch this. We watched a show called Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
And there's a little boy in that, and Kijiro makes a lot of the same noises as this, but Kijiro does it all while he's on screen, so it's none of it's ambiguous. And second, Kichiro's a fucking meme.
Yeah. You heard me attempt to remake those sounds that Keiichiro was making.
Yeah,
Does that imply that those sounds came across as sex sounds when we put them on the podcast?
I hope so.
I wasn't on screen.
I hope people think that you were making child sex noises.
Oh, God,
I just made one.
So, well, in context of the show, even though I don't know if the show actually has context, it's a dog, actually 2 dogs, barking and scaring this little boy.
Keita.
And his sisters, Aiko and Riko,
are there to save him.
Yep.
By scaring the dogs off with a stick?
Yeah, and then they're
these dogs and it's pap a stick on the ground and the dogs leave.
Yeah, and then they're like, Kita, you gotta learn to stand up for yourself. We're not always gonna be around to protect you. And Kita's like, where are you gonna go? You can't leave me. And
yeah, he's worried that if he learns to stand up for himself, that they'll leave him or some shit.
Yep. And then they both kiss him on either cheek, which, out of context of knowing what we were getting into, might have been vaguely cute in an anime sense of sibling love.
I mean, in this scene,
proper okay sibling love.
In this scene, Keita's 4 and the girls are 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's all that he'll always be their pampered little brother.
Oh God, the word.
And yeah, it doesn't get better.
So then we fast forward 10 years, and Kita is asleep during his one of his classes, daydreaming of his sisters.
I think we're supposed to assume that he's dreaming about this and remembering it. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
I understand. I don't fucking care about any of this. I regret doing it.
His friends wake him up, and they're like, "You've been sleeping a lot in school. You must not be sleeping at home. What are you doing at home?
Are you doing
fucking your
sisters?"
His friends immediately are like, "Man, you're tired all the time. Probably because you're fucking your sisters."
If not, I don't understand why you aren't. Because if I had sisters like those, I'd be fucking them.
Dead ass. They say, if you're not fucking your sisters, you're stupid. Because if my sisters were like your sisters, I'd fuck my sisters.
Yeah. So, Keita at first is an understandable and reasonable human being. He's confused as to why the fuck they think that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't make sense. That's bad. That's stupid. What are you guys talking about and going on about?
So then we see Kita on his way home, and he's like...
He's thinking just about like how weird it'd be if they fucked, because they're siblings.
And he's like, "No, those are just fantasies, though. Nah, whatever." And then he gets in the door.
No, there's a fun line. But no one realizes those fantasies have already happened.
Oh yeah, it implies that they've already fucked. It doesn't happen on screen in these 2 episodes, but it's implied.
Yeah. I think the actions we see in this imply that they didn't fuck, but things have definitely gone like farther than any sibling relationship should.
Yeah. So Kita walks through the front door of his house and is immediately jump hugged. I think the terminology is glomped.
Kill me.
By his 2 sisters. And this 2 minutes and 38 seconds into the first episode is when we see our first panty shot.
I
think it's important to note here, before we continue on, because you already noted there's 25 panty shots in these first 2 episodes. We are watching the version that was edited to air on TV, because we don't hate ourselves that much.
There was apparently another version. I wasn't going to subject anyone to that.
I am vaguely interested to know how many of the panty shots that you've listed are not panty shots in the non-edited version. I don't want to see them.
I don't want to know, and I will spend the rest of my living days forcefully preventing my brain from having those thoughts. I know lobotomies are super fucked up and shouldn't happen, but if I could voluntarily sign up for one to get the memory of this fucking show out of my brain, I'm just saying, hand me an ice pick.
Yeah, I'm down with that idea too.
So after they glomp him and show us their panties, his sisters kiss him on either one of his cheeks, and we get this little twinkle sound effect, and Kita pops a boner.
I fucking missed that. I was not paying attention.
My exact note reads, I hate.
You want to hear I actually have some notes from before the show even started. Can I go ahead and read this?
Yeah.
I want to preface this by saying these notes are now wrong. Very wrong. I don't believe this sentence to be true at all. This show is going to be torture. Absolute fucking torture. But it's torture that's torturing Chris. So it's completely and absolutely worth it. That sentence is not true anymore. Nothing is worth it. I follow that with, this show starts out with uncomfortable noises, which we talked about, made even more uncomfortable by the fact that I'm in a room surrounded by 5 other dudes.
Yeah.
This show.
So,
after Kata pops the boner, he gets super flustered and yells and tells them to stop or some shit.
And then we get the OP.
Oh no, you skipped the part where one of the sisters flashes.
No, that's after the OP.
That's after the OP.
Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
Because I have opening is super fetishy.
I have this show put us on an FBI watch list. This opening is trash. Panty shots, lewd bikini shots, incest kisses, and incest implications. I hate this. I want to die. Please stop. I just wanted to torture my friend. Why does this have to happen to me? Why? Oh, why?
I mean, it feels worse. I wanted to torture you and Chris, and I ended up torturing myself.
So we come back.
Self-flagellation.
We come back from the OP. Which,
guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I believed in God before we watched this,
You don't fucking anymore?
God is dead and we killed him.
I mean, I wouldn't it reinforce your belief in God? I mean,
no.
Multiple times in the Bible, he made siblings fuck.
I don't think a God can exist in a world where this show exists.
Really? Because he made siblings fuck a lot in the Bible. This seems like his type of thing.
Not like this.
You're right, there weren't step-siblings in the Bible.
Not like this. So after the opening, do we have the part?
Yeah, we do the whole welcome home bullshit again.
I want to hit... We talked about there's roughly 12 and a half panty shots across each episode. 25 in the first 2. But that was discounting the opening. How many panty shots are in the opening? Chris, you kept a running tally?
6.
For anyone wondering, that's 37 panty shots, not counting the ending outros, which use clips from the episode, so you know.
It just repeats ones you've already seen.
The ending also has really uncanny CGI.
Oh, well, we can get to that when we get to that.
Bad, yeah.
So, Chris, you were talking about one of the sisters flashing him?
Yeah, so they're just like, welcome home, da-da. do you want to see me? And she like undoes her shirt and like shows her.
It was like an overused line from like animes. Like, what do you want first? Do you want a bath, food, or me?
Can we give you a bath? Can we get you food? Or do you want me?
And she flashes them, right? You see her bra. I have a note here, right? We are now, including the opening, 4 minutes and 38 seconds into the episode.
Okay.
At 4 minutes and 38 seconds, we paused it for the fourth time. The best way I can explain it is every minute of this show, you take 400 points of psychic damage, right?
Yeah.
So I had to pause it, chug a health potion, alcohol, and desperately tried to recoup my mental stamina. When we paused it this time, we had a serious conversation about not unpausing it. But for some fucking reason, we were like, it'll make good content.
Okay, so...
Yeah, so hopefully this episode turns out good and is good content. Otherwise, we suffered for no fucking reason.
Man, if this episode performs worse than G.I. Joe, I'm gonna kill myself.
You can fucking kill me before that, man. Like, I'll deserve it.
I don't want to worry any of our listeners. All, 11 of you.
I think we're in a hole here because Chris listens to this shit. I'm not sure he's going to listen to this episode. Even if it would increase our analytics, I don't think he's going to fucking listen to it. I don't blame him.
So, Rico was the one that flashed him before we paused it, right? We unpause it, and Akko goes, it's not fair that you got to see her.
Yeah, because she freaks out because it's not fair.
And also flashes. Oh, my fucking God.
Yeah, well, she goes to flash him. She's super slow about it, and she does open her shirt, so we focus on that with the camera, of course.
But Keto walks right past her.
Yeah.
He doesn't see
does the
her,
whole dotted outline thing, which I normally find amusing. Here I'm like, why couldn't we just follow him with the camera?
So Keita doesn't see her, but don't worry.
We do.
The audience does.
Yeah, we get to see her. So Keto then goes to take a bath.
Keita. But we also hear Akko and Rico.
You act like I care about anything in this show.
Akko and Rico are fighting in the background because Rico insults Akko's boobs, and they're the same size, blah blah blah. He didn't want to see them, whatever. They're just fighting over the fact that Keita doesn't want to be involved in this shit.
Yeah. So then he's taking a bath, and he starts thinking about his sister's boobs.
Before that, though, he calls his sisters sweet and fucking innocent.
Yep.
God, they're so sweet innocent. They don't know what they're doing. Ha 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 ha.
They're not.
My older sisters who are sexually harassing me don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Then he thinks about his sister's boobs and pops another boner. We get another twinkle effect.
Yeah, and actually we get a blurred out white spot that's kind of covered with steam where his dick is sticking out of the water.
I didn't notice that. Thanks.
I only noticed it because when he moves down, we see his hands just pop up over, and the I thought it was a light reflection disappears.
So then we cut to Rita and Akko, and they're in the kitchen fixing food, and this is probably one of the most normal scenes in the entire anime.
Yeah, Akko's fixing soup. Rico's going to cut a cucumber, except she can't cook and just somehow hits it with enough pressure from a knife to send one end flying, but not the other. Yeah,
and then Akko's like, "Hey, can you just stir this? I gotta go do something." And by do something, she means go look through her brother's dresser because she needs to find a pair of his panties to sniff. Panties I mean boxers.
Yeah, she picks them up, sniffs them, and rubs them on her face and hugs them.
But then Rico comes up from downstairs and is like, "You idiot! The clean ones you get from his drawer don't smell. You have to get the dirty ones.
The freshly dirty ones. The ones he just took off to take a bath." And she waves them in front of her sister's face so her sister can smell them. And then she smells
Who stops, stares at them, and then sniffs multiple times.
And then she brings them back in front of her and sniffs. And then they fight over who gets to smell his used boxers. His sweaty used boxers.
So then we see him exit the shower and he's like, "Where the fuck did my underwear go?"
And then we cut to them eating dinner, which is burnt because they both decided to fucking sexualize their younger brother instead of fucking cooking food.
Yeah. And then they spend supper, of course, fighting over him. One wants him to drink something she poured, the other one's trying to spoon feed him.
Can I just say, I realized something just now.
What?
I was disgusted watching this show, but the further we get into my notes, the angrier I get.
Yeah. It's really annoying in this first episode because, Here, he says he chooses to pass. He foregoes eating and drinking to get the fuck away from his sisters.
And like then they basically threaten him because he's like, "Hey, where's our parents?"
Okay, no. I'm going to pay this show one compliment, which is I out loud said, "Where the fuck are their parents?" And then the show immediately told us where the parents were.
Then Kita was like, "Hey, where are our parents?" And they're like, "Oh, they're at a neighborhood association trip," which I think is code for swingers. But we'll get to more of the parents later. And they're like, "We're the only ones here," and that really sounds like a fucking threat.
And we see them on the screen at like from a downward angle, so they're like staring down intimidatingly, and we don't see Kate in the image. They're staring at us, and we stopped here because we had to gauge how fucking like terrifying it was,
how threatening it was. Like, okay, so far throughout this episode, Kita has made it very clear he wants nothing to do with the sexual advances of his sisters. He makes it more clear here in a moment, and they're just threatening him with sex. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So he goes to bed
without dinner, without drinks, because he doesn't want to deal with his sister's sexual advances.
He has a parent-teacher conference coming up the next day.
But he has to throw the form away because
his parents aren't there.
Yeah, and they didn't tell him that they weren't going to be there. Yep.
He's like, "Oh darn!" So before he goes to bed, he walks off camera, and you hear like heavy machinery noises and like da 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 and clang, bing, bang, boom.
Because he remembers what his sisters just said about them being the only ones there.
And then we get a look at his door, and it's like multiple padlocks.
A minimum
and
of
like
I think
chain
I
locks.
counted. I think it was like a minimum of 7 padlocks and like a
deadbolts, and like his door is like it'd be easier to take it off the hinges than get through all those locks.
Yep.
But no, that doesn't stop his sisters from breaking into his room in the middle of the night, pinning him down, and filling him up.
Tying his hands above his head and literally rubbing his dick over his underwear.
Now, this is the first scene where it happens every other time something like this happens. The rest of the series, right? Rest of the episode. Whenever the sisters do weird, fucked up things, sultry saxophone music plays in the background, like Careless Whisper, fucking Kenny G ass, fucking like.
But really bad knockoff version.
Like, "Mom, I want Kenny G. We have Kenny G at home. Kenny G at home." Like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
So like during the scene when they're crawling up on him and shit, and like they have his hands tied down, they're trying to kiss him and like sexually abuse him. They're like, he's like, "Stop," and they're like, "It's okay. This is just a greeting in America."
Fun fact: 3 fucking Americans here. Hey, Chris, is this a fucking greeting in America?
If someone did this to me in the good old US of A, I'm pretty sure that they would be locked away for a very long time.
Look, I'm 100% on board with ACAB, but if I woke up and somebody was sexually assaulting me, I'm calling the police. Like,
yeah, like
ACAB maybe, but you're going to prison, bitch.
Not a fucking American greeting. What the fuck?
We're kind of led to believe it's a dream because he wakes up and there's
he literally goes, "Oh, it was just a dream."
Also, because the sisters in the sequence are in their panties, and when they wake up, they're all fully clothed.
No, they're not.
One of them has pants on, the other one still is just.
And the other one's wearing the same shirt. She just has pajama pants on now, so she might have just gotten cold. Put the pants on.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah. So morning, and it's definitely not just a dream because all of his locks have been like pulled off the door and shit. Yeah. They fucking blew through his door so they could sexually molest him while their parents were not there.
And while he was sleeping.
I don't care about anything from the rest of the show. Everything from the rest of the show, like from this point on, he becomes much more submissive to them.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right? Like
he literally, rightfully, freaks the fuck out and flees. Not just his room, he flees the fucking house.
Yep.
So he smash cut.
No. We have the worst part, remember?
Yeah, because then
Because Rico needs to take the trash out.
And she pulls a Kleenex out of Kita's trash.
So in a teenage boy's room, there's a wadded up Kleenex in the trash can.
Mm-hmm. And then she sniffs it.
And while she's doing that, she then notices the crumpled up notice for a parent-teacher conference the sisters are like, "Oh, mom and dad are out of town. We need to help with this."
Yep.
Yep.
And then we smash cut to an ass shot of a girl in like a PE uniform with like super short shorts, and it's PE class.
Oh yeah, and the way we learn what they're doing in PE class is just by following the asses of the girls in the PE class. They're running, they're in a high vault, they're landing from the high jump, whatever the fuck it is, the vault.
So, I don't like this show. I don't like anything about this show. That's a clever way to move us across the gym class.
Yeah.
In what is essentially an ecchi comedy. Like, ecchi is perverted like anime.
So, I would argue that ecchi is like, haha, boobies are funny.
It's like a raunchy comedy.
Well,
those are fine sometimes.
Ecchi doesn't have to be funny. Ecchi can be like...
just something that's raunchy.
Insanely fucked up.
This show is softcore porn.
I mean, that's what a lot of ecchi is. Like, there's literally an ecchi anime about a guy who goes around and like reviews fucking aliens. Like, that's his entire job. And the manga didn't have the sex scenes, but when they made the ecchi, when they made the anime, they're like, let's put scenes of him fucking these aliens.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. I learned about it from the Anime Man in his podcast.
So I am what you might call a weeaboo. Right, I've been watching anime since high school, right? But I really
rookie numbers.
4.
So I really do try. Like, for most, I tried to avoid ecchi shit because I was like, I'm fat. I'm in marching band. I play D&D.
I do not need more horrible stereotypes.
I get bullied enough. I'm not gonna let people know that I watched like the stereotypical anime about panties.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of them, but like, there's been a few shows where I'm like, that premise seems really fucking cool, and I start watching, I'm like, fuck.
Just says, I'm not a fan of them, but I've watched several.
I mean,
yeah, it happens.
So, back to the show. A girl runs up to Kita, right? It turns out his sisters are not the only girls who want his penis.
Nope. Every girl who talks to him, except for one, we'll get to her later.
Except the opening applies to her as well at some point.
At some point, in these 2 episodes, not though. But this girl, her name is Mikazuki.
Mitsubishi, yeah. Nagasaki.
And she's also pining for that sweet, sweet Kita dick. She wants that Kita dick. And she talks to him about, like, managing a team later.
Like she's a year younger than him.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, when we're in high school together, you're going to play sports. I'll be the sports manager. Yada, 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 yada.
And this is the point when I realized, oh, shit, she's in middle school. And then my brain clicked, oh, shit, he's in middle school.
Yeah. I assumed they were all high schoolers initially.
It was slightly better. And then it got so much worse.
Like, I've watched some ecchi shit, right? Like,
Begata HK, I'm gonna search time.
Begata really HK good. Is so good. It's an ecchi, but it's an ecchi comedy that's fucking amazing. Yeah. Or like High School of the Dead, which is a legit good series.
Yeah.
But this is so bad and so wrong. And at least in Begata HK and High School of the Dead, all of the characters are in high school at least.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
So the bell rings. It's time to go back to class. So the girl turns around and goes, oh, wait. She says the word reveal and lifts up her skirt to show him her underwear.
Her entire skirt.
Her ass. Because of the way she's facing. But yeah. No, it's not. Like, what the fuck? Why?
So,
what the hell?
Rico and Akko are in their separate classes in their high school because they go to a different school than him because they're high school students. Mm-hmm.
And it's implied that his grades aren't good enough to get into their high school.
Yeah.
And they want their brother in their high school.
Well, the thing about it is they look at the paper and, like, he's apparently forgoing a recommendation to another school. Yeah. So he can go to their high school. Which, I mean, clearly this is the first sign of his fucking Stockholm Syndrome, right? Because, like, he has a recommendation to another good school. And he's like, but my sisters are at this one.
Yeah. So they stand up in the middle of their class like, we've got to go. And then they both simultaneously head to Kita's school.
Now,
to attend his parent-teacher conference.
No, I'm really, really disappointed, right? I thought maybe the show would give me one thing that I wanted, right? I thought for sure that Rico and Akko were going to stand on each other's shoulders in a big trench coat and be like, "We're the world's tallest parent. We're here for Kita's conference, haha." But I could not even take solace in that happening. Because instead, all of the friends we mentioned earlier...
It's more than just the friends. The friends were like 4. It's
Every fucking guy.
From a giant mob and begin chasing them around the schoolyard.
Because apparently, Kita's sisters just give off like some type of irresistible pheromone that makes every guy in their vicinity who is younger than them, because nobody in their high school is chasing them around, makes all the middle school students chase them around, trying to rape them, I guess?
Do you think that family just has like weird supernatural bullshit pheromones?
At one point, like a person like manages to kind of catch up to them, so one of the sisters kicks him in the face.
Rico, the one with the band-aid, I think, right?
Kicks him and he goes flying. So the other guys and
we
the crowd
do
like
get the Team Rocket blasting off sound, which is nice.
right,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the guys and the crowd are like, "Oh my god, kick me, please, kick me."
I do want to say there's one thing about this scene that I respect. She kicks him in the face, and that is prime opportunity for a panty shot.
And they didn't do it.
And they don't take it. Like,
because we can't, but that's because we can't take the shot where it makes sense. We just have to have people randomly reveal their clothes by saying the word reveal.
Oh my god. So
then we get a group of middle school girls that attend Kita's middle school talking about how there's rumors that Kita is fucking his sisters all the time and like or wants to fuck his sisters, and that they want to fuck him too, even though they're innocent, quote unquote.
And then one of them is apparently not so innocent. They're both here right now.
Yeah, they both just came to his middle school to confess their love. Yeah. And so they believe that his sisters came to their middle school in the middle of the day to confess their love for their brother out in public. Confessions are, as we've mentioned before on a previous episode, a thing in Japanese culture, and mainly in anime and manga, but...
Yeah. It's a thing.
So Kita looked at the window and is like, "Oh look, that is my sisters being chased by a big mob. I need to go see the fuck's going on." So he rushes downstairs.
Yep, he just runs, and then trips, and somehow ends up his face underneath another girl's skirt with his face like literally between her legs.
He slams into her boobs face first, and then lands on her crotch face first underneath her skirt.
I'm talking like...
Yeah, and this girl's name is Mikuni, and I just can't help but feel bad for her.
Yeah. So this show has the most generic, low budget, shitty animation.
It's so bad.
Is that right?
In two separate episodes, Mikuni gets sexually assaulted by our main character.
Twice.
And every time they draw Mikumi,
it's horrible.
She is drawn better than the rest of the class for some reason.
Yeah.
And she looks legitimately, and rightfully so, legitimately fucked up and traumatized, and begins like sobbing, and the sobbing's like rack her fucking body. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, this is just a cycle of sexual abuse. Like, his sisters sexually abuse him, so he sexually abuses his classmates.
Like then he doesn't say sorry, but like I cannot impart onto you, the audience, enough that.
So he doesn't even really check to see if she's okay. He's just like, sorry, gets up and runs the fuck out to help his sisters.
His sisters outside got a blast.
So Kita then finally confronts his sisters, scolds them for showing up at school, and tells them that they need to go the fuck home.
So the guys around him get upset because he just told the people that they want to fuck to go home.
And his sisters are upset because he's mad, so they apologize.
So the sisters like go to walk away. About 15 seconds pass, and he goes, "Aw, shit! You guys are just trying to help."
No, like
he finds the paper.
Yeah, he steps on the parent-teacher conference paper, which
so they're not just there to fuck around and cause problems. Because he was like, "This is an important day for me, whatever."
So he picks up the paper. And he's like, "Oh, this is my parent-teacher conference form. Why is it here now?" And he puts it together, and he's like, "Oh, they were just trying to help." So he chases after them, and
this whole time there's the sax music playing.
Yeah, but he chases after them, and the running animation for him chasing after them
Uncanny Valley got triggered so bad.
It's such a bad animation too. Like his legs are going left and right of his body. Like
my lizard brain went, humans no run like that, and I was like, bad.
Yeah, it's true. They do not.
So Kita then directly apologizes to his sexual abusers for yelling at them and telling them to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And
they immediately are happy and hug him.
I just have right underneath this, I hate this so much. I fucking hate this. Like, they are sexual abusers. They are predators molesting their younger brother. And he's apologizing to them for like, not wanting them around.
And if you're like me, I'm sure you're wondering, what kind of parents will allow this to happen underneath their roof?
Well, when we get home, his parents are there.
Yep, and his dad's like, we've explained this before to you, son. They're not your sisters. Go all out. Fuck them all you want.
They're your stepsisters. I had you. Your stepmom had them. We got together. You're not blood related. And then he explicitly states, I am disappointed in you for not going all out with them while they were in the courtyard.
Yeah, and the sisters
I didn't raise you like that.
So hold on. The sisters were super excited about this like lecture, and Kita just like looks like worried and concerned and like fucking rightfully so. And then his dad's like, I didn't raise my son not to fuck his sisters.
Not those exact words, but basically those fucking exact words.
It's those exact words.
Yeah. And then we end the episode with
my memory is 100% on this one.
Then we
those
end
are
the
the
episode
words.
with them do the whole double kiss thing again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then the ending is...
Oh, actually, I think we missed a very important part. His stepmom's here as well, and she's also on board with this. She's like, yeah, he's going to marry one of you one day.
But which one? I
Who
guess
knows?
you'll have to fight over him. Ha ha ha.
So yeah, then they kiss him one on either side of the cheek, and then we get the ending, which if it wasn't for like the interstitial images from the episode, mainly of panty shots, this ending might almost be charming.
You see, I disagree because they use CGI models of Akko and Rico, and they are like uncanny, fucked up, like maybe deeply uncomfortable.
I'd rather deal with that than anything else from the fucking anime.
Like, it's just the sisters dancing, no panty shots from their dancing, and like, I could buy this as like the ending to like a slice of life or like a normal like romantic drama, but like
the one of those fucking interstitials show up.
Yeah,
and then the interstitial show up, and it's one of the sisters with her panties or bra exposed.
Yeah. So that is episode 1 of this horrible show.
I didn't even take notes on what I thought of after the ending of this because I think it's very, very obvious throughout.
I'm gonna ask anyways. Josh, what do you think about the show?
It's fantastic.
First episode.
It's fantastic. I need to watch the other 11 episodes right now. Let's go. All 11. Let's go. Woo woo woo!
Chris, what do you think?
So there's a really, really good documentary called 121 Minutes That Changed America, and it is all found footage from video recorders of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Right. It also includes very graphic scenes of whenever the people in the Twin Towers, their choices were to either jump from buildings.
Yeah, and the people that jumped.
So they would just jump and hit the streets. I'd rather watch like a 10-hour compilation of people splatting against the fucking New York sidewalk than watch this fucking show.
I was wondering where this was going, but...
Damn.
Yeah, I'm there. I get you. Hey, Justice, what did you think of this episode that you've watched twice now? Because you have no fucking morals or humanity.
Oh, no. It was horrible the first time, which is why I tried to fucking force Chris to suffer with it. And that didn't work the first time. I've succeeded in that. It's been long enough, though. I'd managed to repress a lot more of the show than I thought, and I remembered fucking hated it and being disgusted by it. I should have never done this. I chose this to torture you guys, and I fucked myself. This is horrible. I hate everything about it.
It's okay, we hate you.
I don't blame you.
Justice mentioned...
If I die in my sleep tonight, I'll understand why.
Justice mentioned repressing it. The second episode started, Justice grabbed the sides of his head and went, "Oh God, not this one!"
Because our other friend who was there made a reference to something, and the reference he made was to an outfit, and it was the very beginning of the fucking episode. And when you referenced the outfit, I didn't remember at first, and then I did.
There's a moment in the second episode where Justice was just like, no, it's okay, guys. I don't need to watch this.
I remember this part.
I remember this. And, like, turned away from the television and expected us to watch it without him?
I was in control. They couldn't pause it.
So, episode 2.
Oh, we need that title of that episode. Episode 2. Sorry. KissxSis.
Episode 2.
A lesson just for 2.
It opens on a panty shot.
Yeah.
No. It opens on a camel toe shot.
Also, Kita's character model has completely changed.
Yeah, they went from like... I think what happened is somebody in the production...
They grew him older.
Somebody in the production was like, hey, he looks like a child. And somebody's like, he's 14. And they're like, that's not okay. Make him look older.
And now...
But you greenlighted this for an anime.
The dynamic of Kita has also changed. Last episode it was, man, I have these weird feelings about my sisters, but like, what they're doing to me is not okay, I don't like it. To Kita in episode 2 is, actually, I've done some soul searching myself. I want to fuck my sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like Chris said, this episode opens with a panty shot, and that panty shot is Akko, Kita's sister, sitting on his bed,
Dressed as a teacher.
Dressed up as a teacher with her legs with her legs open, revealing...
No, she has like the stereotypical...
Basic instinct.
Basic instinct. She pulls the basic instinct where her legs are crossed. She goes to like cross the elbow and for a split second, you see like camel toe, like Josh said, and it does like the slow motion replay.
And the slow motion replay, it fucking zooms in.
And then... Then, like, he makes an audible noise because he's turned on by looking at his sister's vagina. And she's like, oh, are you having trouble with a problem?
And he goes, no.
Here, let me come and rub my tits all over you.
Yes.
And then, thank God, we cut to the opening.
Well, actually, at first he freaks the fuck out and falls out of his chair, and then we get to the opening.
Oh, yeah. Then, thank God, we cut to the opening. I say thank God because I can tune the opening out without having to pay attention. Because I already took notes on it once, and now I don't have to look at it. And now I can just...
A minute 30th break.
For a minute and 30 seconds, still
free.
myself. Prepare my psyche for the inevitable barrage that this show is going to assault.
For a minute and 30 seconds, my eyes glaze over and my brain is actively trying to impress what I'm seeing.
I was actively on Twitter looking for anything to, like, bleach my eyes with. I'm going to go on Reddit later and find our eye bleach because I've never been there before, but I need it now.
So, we're going to backtrack to the last episode I was on, which is Vampire Diaries, right? I love, like, More Darkness. So, the werewolves in that universe has something called the delirium, which when a human sees a werewolf, its brain can handle it, so it'll try to, like, that was a big dog I saw, right?
Yeah.
I think I experienced the delirium where the opening started and I was just like, my eyes glossed over, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, the opening was over and I was like, what? Like, my brain was like, you need a break, and turned off.
So, we find out after the OP that Kita needs to get a 50% on an upcoming test to pass.
He's above a 50%. He got a 50% on the mock test.
Yeah. And the sisters are lecturing him about how he needs to study. Well, mainly Akko's lecturing him about how he needs to study.
Rico chips in, but Akko's like, you fucking just rolled a pencil to answer questions.
Well, Rico's like,
school.
You don't need to study. You just need like a 51%. It's just like literally flipping a coin. It's luck. You'll be fine. I got in.
Also, Rico doesn't like that Akko and him are spending time together because the mom established like they're like pitted against each other.
That's the whole plot of this episode.
The friend we watched this with said, and I quote, "Don't worry, Rico gets episodes too. Like we give a fuck."
We're not watching any more after this.
Okay.
Except Justice, who watched all of this series.
So
kill me, please. I'm still remembering things I don't want to remember.
So I will give Justice credit that he I lived with Justice for a year in college. Josh lives with him forever, right? Justice has this thing: if he starts any series, he has to finish it, right? He's on season 10 of Smallville, right?
It's not good.
So he started this because he's like, what's one of the worst animes ever? And he finished it, right? Okay, guys, so I'll give you a little secret. I think the friend that we watched this with unironically enjoys it, like thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have a note here. I have it here in my notes. The timeline of this episode's a little wonky because apparently this scene where they're lecturing him takes place before the scene at the beginning of the episode, and then we cut to after.
Back in the room.
So
Look,
I just took that
a show this terrible doesn't need to have a terrible timeline as well.
Well, you see, I took it as the show being so bad that it almost gave off enough radiation to alter the fabric of space and time.
I mean, I honestly, I assume it's probably him, like, having hit his head and remembering why the fuck he ended up in the situation.
I wish I could hit my head and forget the situation.
So do I!
So anyways, then we jump back to Akko, dressed up as a teacher.
And then the saxophone kicks in.
Yeah.
Yep. And she starts pulling up her skirt.
Well, first she's asking if he finds the outfit attractive, and he's trying to deny he doesn't, and he's just like, yes, I do.
And then she's pulling up her skirt to reveal her panties, and just before she, like, legitimately reveals her panties, she's like, nah, you need to study. You need to focus. I can't be, like, distracting you with my sexy. She's not sexy. She's 16.
Yeah, she's... like, fuck, man, it's not okay.
I'm looking at my notes, and this is the most misspellings I have in a note file ever, and it's because normally I give a shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it's because of the psychic damage.
That's it too.
I was occasionally rolling for it when we paused.
So Rico spies on them while they're studying, and then she's obviously jealous, although nothing really good happens here.
And obviously, Keita can't focus on work.
So then they're all having family dinner, and Akko asks Kita what he wants for a midnight snack while he's studying, and she ends up suggesting something called Akudon.
So,
Which this is a dinner scene with the whole fam family.
yes.
And the dad says something in response to Akudon about them not being able to borrow their mom. Now, I want to be straight with you. 5 of us were watching this. 3 of the 5 of us did not get this joke at all. 2 of the 5 of those people are here. Hi, Chris.
So,
What's an Akudon, Chris?
so I had no fucking clue.
Yeah, I still don't want to know.
They said Akudon, and it was a picture of like
An egg dish of some sort?
rice, an egg, and chunks of fried chicken in the egg.
Yeah, like, it looks like a good food. Like, I would eat noms.
But luckily, of the 2 people who did know what it was about,
Justice!
Yeah.
What's an Akudon? What's the joke here?
It's a horrible, horrible joke, and it makes everything all worse.
Oh, really? How is that? How can you make a show about sexual abuse worse?
so what is the food?
So the food is a chicken and egg rice dish.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I would eat that for a midnight snack.
I would eat like breakfast sandwiches with like chicken and like egg on it.
Yeah, that sounds.
Oh yeah. You're not gonna want to eat that after this. In this joke, I heard the phrase before, and people laughed about it in the fucking show that I was watching. I don't fucking remember what it was, and I didn't fucking understand it. So, me being the smart person I was, decided, let's look up what this slang means, because apparently it's slang. It's referring to having sex with a mother and her daughter at the same time, because I assume in this situation you're the rice and you are with the chicken and the egg.
So,
And oh my fucking god, I've never been more disgusted by the idea of a chicken dish, and I fucking
to
love
remind
chicken.
you, the father then was like, "Oh, it's too bad you can't borrow your mom," and then the mother is like, "Yeah, what a shame," and smiles.
And then throughout this entire scene, the dad's basically going, "Ha ha. So you know you're not blood related, right? Ha ha. So you know like if you fuck them, it's ethically fine, right?"
And she's not your mom. It'd be totally okay for you guys to have an Akudon.
No. He's not cool with it. She's fine with it though, because they're not blood related.
So we also get the scene where we find out Rico is completely useless. It's part of this dinner scene because Kita needs somebody to tutor him, and he needs food.
Rico says is upset that she can't help, and she insists that she can take care of him in other ways. And Akko's like,
yeah,
I can do that. To which the mother's like, it's a shame. There won't be anything left for me to help with.
Yeah.
Mom's like,
Again, she has to reaffirm, I'd fuck him too.
I'm 100% sure Kita's just 2 broken arms away from being a Reddit thread.
Oh, God. Or 2 broken legs away from reading a Stephen King novel.
Fucking hate this show.
So
Misery describes my feeling of this.
he's like, I have to study, but then it, like doesn't it cut to him being like dozing like I was.
Yeah, because it's like 2 a.m. though. He's been studying all fucking night. And then Akko's like, it's 2 a.m. You should probably stay awake. Here, let me show you my boobs.
Let me wake you up. And she's like, Here are my boobies.
Look, bra, boobs, stuff.
And the exact phrase, "Are you awake now?"
Yeah. So then we go to his math. Is he at his math test or just see the results of his math
Yeah,
test? I don't fucking remember.
but he failed the test because
He couldn't fucking
he
remember
couldn't
anything.
focus because all he was thinking about was his sister's boobs.
He's like, okay, so the hypotenuse times the is tits.
Yeah. So we go back to him studying.
A squared plus B squared equals honk-a-dum-bonkaloos.
A squared plus B squared equals double
C cup.
equals double C cup.
Yeah. So we go back to him studying, and Akka's in no more clothes. Did you guys get your hopes up at this point?
A little bit.
No,
And-
I knew it was a bait and switch. And I was immediately afraid.
Oh, so this is the scene where Justice is like, "Okay, guys, I don't need to watch this. I know what's going on."
I don't want to.
Justice, you can't submit people to literal torture and then back out of it in
The
the
U.S.
middle of
government
torture.
does it all the time.
No, they don't back out of it though. They got their balls.
They aren't being tortured at the same time.
She walked in normal clothes.
You think you could use this to torture people in like Guantanamo?
100%.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
No. I'm pretty sure like they wouldn't, because I'm pretty sure the show violates the Geneva Convention.
Guantanamo Bay and the torture we do on prisoners already. Anyways,
So she walks in wearing normal clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my body instinctually knows that it's gonna be worse than I could possibly imagine. And I should I think my body entered flight or fight.
Okay,
like
I was caught by the bait and switch. I was like, oh,
I was for a brief moment.
I can relax for half a second, and then Justice is like, I don't need to watch this. I was like, oh god, what the fuck is coming?
Oh yeah, because the moment in which you were like, I think I'm safe, my mind was like, I think I'm safe. Oh fuck, no, I'm not.
So what this is he's got an English test coming up that he needs to study for. So what did she do? She wrote his vocabulary
With its definitions.
all over her body. And I don't mean like on her arms and shit. I mean like literally on her boobs and in her thigh and across her vagina.
the climax of the scene is that half of a vocabulary word is obscured,
By her panties.
and he has to push them aside to finish reading the sentence.
And his finger kind of goes into her vagina.
And she climaxes. It happens.
Yep, that's the scene. That's the scene.
And then it smash cuts to him
On his way to school, trying to remember it.
But then-
like, going through his head.
and realizing it worked.
Yes, but as he does it, he like goes through his head of the whole moving the panty side thing again, and this is when he sexually assaults Mikumi again.
He pokes her in the tit.
No, his finger stops before her boob, and he realizes, and he fucking pokes her anyways.
And then
Intentionally, yeah.
hyper-realistic crying Mikumi comes back.
And then Mikazuki's there for some reason, and she's just like, oh, hey, here's my panties.
Yeah. After like some line about being jealous of Mikumi, like
Oh, actually, sorry.
I'm
she's
jealous.
She's not like, here's my panties. She pulls up her entire uniform, and she's like, here's my panties and bra.
Yeah, because she was jealous of Mikumi being sexually assaulted.
This show is the fucking worst.
Yeah. And then
So
he passes.
he gets an 85 on this test. Yay. This time a history lesson. She's dressed even more suggestively this time. A G-string and a bikini that barely covers her tits.
And she's covered in history facts, apparently.
Yep.
And then we also see Akko is learning to cook.
Yep.
Which would normally be like a sweet sentiment. But not in this show.
Yeah, like you'd be like, oh, my brother needs somebody to help give him food because he's trying to study for this test so he can get into the high school he wants to get into. I'm going to learn to cook for him. In a normal show, that would be endearing. In this show, she's not thinking, I need to learn how to cook for him. She's thinking, if I learn how to cook for him, I can fuck him.
But also, personally, the logic isn't there for me. I have a high school degree, I have a college degree, right? At no point when I'm studying for test, I have like notes, but gosh darn it, what I'm missing for this study session is some food.
Just make some soup in the end. Like, if I'm gonna eat anything when I'm not studying, it's not soup.
It's also, the soup is the same animation of soup from the previous episode.
All these fuckers eat potato stew.
They just recycled the animation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We go to the next day where his friends think he cheated on
Yeah,
his
because
test.
he gets an 85 back, and his friends thinks he's cheated on his test, and he's just like, I just asked my sister Akko to tutor me.
So they're all super jealous.
Initially, their imagination
It's so much more fucking tame.
Yeah, they're like, oh. And like it's like a very reasonable imagination. And then they imagine him fucking her, and she's tutoring him in how to fuck.
Yeah.
Which is great, because then he has that same thought later. He dreams that same thing.
Mm-hmm. So then we get to the final study session?
Wait, no. You skip the part where Rico stays after school.
Oh, yeah.
To like learn how to chop vegetables.
What vegetables does she?
Actually, she learns how to hand job the penis.
Yeah, because first she's holding an eggplant
and washing it vigorously.
Obviously, eggplant couldn't be a stand-in for fucking anything. I mean, the show was made in 2010. Couldn't be a stand-in
before its time.
Before its time, couldn't be a stand-in for anything. And then she picks up a cucumber and she's like talking about the cucumber, like
she salts it and like rubs it like kind of normal way, like if you're trying to like.
Salt, get the salt in there by like rubbing it across the salt, pushing it down, and then she picks it up and she starts stroking the cucumber, and then she like rubs it against her face because she's imagining it's her brother's penis. That's what this is. She's imagining the cucumber is her brother's dick, and she's rubbing it on her face, and she's massaging it like it's like she's jacking off a dick, and that's what this is. Some teacher is out in the hall watching her, and she's like, "What is she doing with those vegetables?"
Yeah.
Yep.
And now we were going to that thing, Chris. Wait, not this final session. We have his dream.
Yeah, this is where Kita dreams of fucking Akko as she tutors him in sex. The same thing his friends imagined. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah, when he wakes up, though, she is right next to him, so I'm not entirely sure it's a dream. I'm pretty sure he's just repressing the shit that's happening to him at night.
So, if they begin the final study session where she's going to ask him 10 questions, but every time he gets a question wrong,
she gets to kiss him.
They got fucking smooch.
Yeah, and she offered it up as a reward. He did it correct.
Because initially she's going to kiss him, and he's like, "That's not a reward. That's a punishment." And she's like, "Fine. For each question you get wrong, you have to kiss me."
He hasn't kissed me since we were in the 4th grade.
So he gets the first 3 questions right because apparently using sex to study is highly effective. And she's like, "Fine, I'm going to stop asking questions I know he knows the answers to. Let me ask this question that we haven't studied at all," so he gets it wrong.
She also institutes a timer at the same time.
Yeah. She institutes a timer that wasn't part of the original agreement. So yeah, he gets it wrong, obviously. And he's like, "Well, it's a punishment game. Got no choice but to kiss her. Oh, well." And he kisses her. And,
a gratuitous.
Hold on. You're right, but hold on. And it could just be like a simple peck. That could have been all it was.
That meets the requirements.
That would have met the requirements. But Chris, you wanted to say something?
A gratuitous amount of tongue.
What else?
Like literally just a scene of tongues like wrapping around each other.
And then he's like, "I'm gonna suck on that neck."
And like
he starts. You missed something before that.
Oh yeah, he's like groping her tits now.
Oh, I didn't see that.
His hand is sliding down to her waist when we see him kiss her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then she kind of like pulls herself away. She's like, "You can't leave marks on me. People could see that."
Not where they're visible.
Yeah, not where they're visible. And then he grabs her by the waist and pulls her back in and goes back in for it.
And we get fucking saved by Rico for the cock block.
Rico gets a dab here. Boom.
Fucking play of the game.
Rico, thank you. Best part here is the rest of this episode has almost no sexual connotation. But the rest of this episode is like 2 minutes because Rico's like, "Hey, I've been learning how to make food for you. Here's some soup." And he's like, "Oh."
It tastes bad.
It's nasty, he spits it out.
Yeah, it's nasty, he spits it out. And then his grade is up again. It's a 65%. The episode ends. He rushes to hug Akko, and Rico's jealous. That's the end of the episode. There's no more sexualness. That's it.
Yep.
We get 2 minutes of reprieve at the end. Although none of it's even better because it's all contextualized by what we've seen for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's horrible, and just horrible.
So Chris, you go first. Would you watch the rest of this?
Not only would I not watch the rest of this, but I'm fairly certain that I'm on the FBI watch list for watching the 2 episodes that I did watch.
Okay, Justice. Oh, you already watched the rest of this. You already watched this all. Never mind. Your answer doesn't count.
Yeah. If I could, I'd go back and unwatch all of it.
Would you? Because you just made yourself and us rewatch it.
Again, I forgot just how bad it was. I remembered it being bad. I didn't remember it being this fucking bad.
In case it's not obvious by my complete and absolute vitriolic hate, I would not watch another episode of this. I would not watch this ever again. And in fact, I want to make this clear. This show is not available to watch on any normal streaming platform. Justice, didn't you have to pirate this?
We did.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, luckily you're not going to accidentally stumble across it. That's a good thing. You don't want that to fucking happen.
Anyways, we told you that we wouldn't watch it, but Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
Growing up, watching anime,
Okay.
right? Whenever you always had like, so anime had like the stereotype of like, isn't it the cartoons where they show girls' panties and that? And it's like, no, it's the I watched Dragon Ball Z and like
Except Dragon Ball was terrible about that. Like,
yeah,
But
but
you said Dragon Ball Z, not Dragon Ball.
yeah, you're right.
so this, I feel like shows like this is what gives the entire genre of anime like the negative connotation that it had for like decades,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right?
100%.
And because of how bad the show is, because it exists, I cannot blame people for thinking that way.
So, ecchis can be good.
Like, we said earlier.
I don't think any of us would argue that High School of the Dead is bad.
For me personally, it like really skirts the line like too etchy for me.
Yeah, but it's a good show, right? Like, it's okay.
Compared to this, it's like
High School of the Dead was I liked it. I mean, it's a little etchy, like a little more etchy than I would like, and the beach episode's like gratuitous.
I don't think I even watched that.
Oh, the beach episode's an OVA.
Yeah, I didn't watch
it's just legitimately gratuitous. The zombie they fight is a giant tentacle monster.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
This show makes High School of the Dead look like the fucking Godfather.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we don't hate this show because it's an ecchi. Like, ecchis can be done well.
Yeah, a good ecchi is like a raunchy comedy movie or some shit. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
In all
thing.
In all seriousness, all jokes aside, these two episodes made me deeply uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
I feel icky.
Same.
I literally felt traumatized when I finished watching this. And I'm feeling a little bit of that traumatization right now again. Like, having to discuss this for an hour, like...
Yeah, so am I. Literally, my final thoughts are just, fuck, why the fuck, what the fuck why?
Yes.
Why did I fucking hope to torture these two fucks with this fucking shit? What the fuck was I fucking thinking? Fuck.
Yes, Justice. Fuck. That's what he does with his sisters.
This is effectively like Justice went, I want to give these guys radiation poisoning. So without putting on his own radioactive proof suit, he just like picked up some radium and was like, haha, I'm poisoning you guys, haha, as his hair was falling out.
I mean, yeah.
So first, before we actually wrap down, I want to apologize because I don't know. I want to apologize for making you guys listen to this.
If you listen through to it, like, I would say that's your fault, but it's not.
Listen.
There's no way you could have expected everything that happened here.
I would say, and people, you can keep track of this, right? If you listen to this full episode, you get your first Copilots Gold Star. This is a Gold Star episode. If you listen to it, you made it through. Keep track of how many gold stars you have by the time of the death of the universe comes.
It'll probably be less than 3. But
We'll try to make sure it's less than 3, because I assume gold stars are either going to be for really, really horrible things, or no, just really, really horrible things.
yeah. Before we wrap this up, I do want to apologize because comparatively to other episodes, you may have noticed I was like speedballing my way through this. That's because every sentence I read in my notes made me angrier.
Yeah.
So I think we all agree just to wrap things up, then never speak of this show ever again.
Yeah, so we're Copilots Review. Chris, you don't have anything to plug again, do you?
I don't want anything that I'm associated with this show.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Don't want to get your SEO fucked up and get your Twitter handle associated with this.
100%.
So,
yeah.
That said, I exactly want to get my SEO fucked up and associate my Twitter handle with this. We're Copilots Review. You can find us at copilotsreview.simplecast.com or on Twitter at Copilots Review, or email us at copilotsreview@gmail.com.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna fucking sink this plane